Welcome to this week's episode. I'm Paula Williams.
I'm John Williams.
And we are ABCI, and ABCI's mission is
to help all you folks out there in the aviation world sell more of your products and services, hopefully with less stress.
Exactly. So we just recently did an episode where we talked about using 3 tools for targeting as part of the prospecting process in aviation, which is actually much easier than in a lot of industries because most of our target market is publicly available information through the FAA and other sources. So this week, we're going to be taking that a step further and saying, now that you have your top 10 list of your most wanted potential future customers, how do we approach those people, right?
Right.
Exactly. So once again, we're going to be using ChatGPT and LinkedIn as our tools. Both of them are free to use. And, last week we also used the FAA database. You can also use JetNet, AirPack, a lot of different sources of information, association lists, etc., to come up with your top 10. But once you have your top 10 list of individual human beings, not necessarily companies, but humans, because it's always a human being that makes the decision to make a purchase, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So the problem that we have in the aviation industry is that most successful people are already doing business, right? And if they're already doing business, they already have their major needs met by somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, they're able to function in the world. They have a lot of things already going on. They know how to get, our example that we used last week is that we were a fictitious MRO, XYZ MRO in Omaha, Nebraska. So the natural prey for a fictitious MRO that does phase inspections on citations is NetJets, right? NetJets has hundreds and hundreds of citations. Probably the biggest citation operator, Part 135 operator on the planet, right? So
Right.
it would be crazy not to go for NetJets. The other side of that is that it's kind of crazy to go for NetJets because they are a big organization. They have a lot of things going on. They probably already have 2 or 3 different sources for every vital business function that they need, including phase inspections and so on. So I have no inside information about what's going on at NetJets. I am using this as a almost fictitious example of how I would go about it if this were a job that I were trying to do, given the information that I have, which is not a lot, right?
Right.
Okay, cool. So we have no connection with NetJets. They are not a client. But we're just using them as an example because they're a fantastic example, right? Okay. So I'm going to go to LinkedIn and I am going to see if I can find the chief operating officer of NetJets. And so I just typed in NetJets COO, and lo and behold, there he is. And once again, I'm not connected with him. I don't know him. I know very little about him, etc. Right? So this is a completely semi-fictitious example. We're just using this poor guy as a victim of our experiment for today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's say that, of course, I am in charge of marketing for this MRO, this fictitious MRO that does phase inspections on citations. So of course, it would be ideal to find a way to get in contact with Alan Bobo, who I don't know and who I don't happen to know anybody who knows. We'll just say that I don't have any mutual connections or anything like that. So what I can do, though, is I can save his profile to a PDF. And you can see how I just did that. I just used the little more button here, save to PDF. It came up as another tab on my browser, right? Did you see what I did?
Oh, yeah.
No magic, right? Okay, so I'm going to save that. And I'm going to put that into ChatGPT. So I'm going to share the screen again or stop the share and share it again. Okay. And once again, We're using a private instance of ChatGPT because of, the privacy situation and everything else. We don't want anybody else looking in on our marketing research, and using that for their own evil purposes or whatever. And John is on the line, and he is our security guy. So of course, I am not going to do anything that is going to jeopardize our security, right?
Nope.
Okay, cool. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this file, and this is Alan Bobo's LinkedIn profile. So then I'm going to ask my GPT, which knows the entire conversation from last week when we were talking about targeting. We were talking about our uh, current challenge, which is marketing citation phase inspection services and things like that. So please analyze Alan Bobo's profile attached and provide um, in fact, we can ask it for the entire marketing plan. We're not gonna like what it comes up with, but it'll give us some interesting ideas, right?
Hmm.
So it agrees, that he's probably a great target, because he has a large fleet of aircraft under fractional ownership, including Citation aircraft models, da, 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 da. Okay, so the things that he's gonna be the most interested in, given his situation, uh, according to ChatGPT, is we want to highlight our expertise with the citation phase inspections in particular. We want to emphasize that our Omaha location is a strategic advantage over what they may be using currently. We may want to do some research into what other Part 145s are in the area and what they're charging for phase inspections and see if we can highlight our competitive advantage to him. Um, and we want to also mention, if we have any specific scheduling advantages over any of the others in the area. So I haven't entered, but let me see if it will be able to extrapolate who are our main competitors. Who does NetJets currently use for? And it will only be able to find it if it's publicly available information, like if they have a press release saying that they have a partnership with an MRO or something like that. Um, so you can have this entire conversation. Okay, well, they have an in-house facility. Okay, but they may have, and this is something we need to do.
For routine checks and op support.
Right,
So when you go to the C and D inspection, maybe even B, that's where the teardowns happen. You may want to go outside. Depend.
right, exactly. And they're going to use Textron. Textron is in where's the citation plant for Textron?
Uh, I think it's at Texas, maybe Dallas.
Let's see if it knows. Okay, so Wichita, mostly Indianapolis, San Antonio. Okay,
The-
right. So that way we know what we are looking at, or at least we know what questions to ask, and we can be a little bit more informed by the time we talk with Alan Bobo. We're not going into this conversation cold, which a lot of salespeople do, right? We know who our competitors are. We know some of the main reasons that he may want to choose us, and so on. And the more we know about our own company, and the more we know about uh, NetJets, the better off we are. So, what are some other questions we might ask if we were going to call Alan Bobo and pitch him on our citation MRO services or citation phase inspection services?
Well, there you are.
Yeah. Yep. So it gives a pretty nice uh, highlight or a pretty nice summary of what those things are.
Read the
So,
sentence.
huh?
Read the last sentence.
Exactly. So then the next question is we need to figure out what is our strength or what is our skill level. So if I were Mark Leeper, as an example, I would pick up the phone and call Alan Bobo, right? I am not Mark Leeper, so I would probably use LinkedIn. But let's just say for a minute that I was going to do a phone call with Alan Bobo. Cool. Okay. So, John, you get to be the salesperson. What's the first thing out of your mouth when you ring, 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 ring? Hello.
Hi, Alan. My name is.
We'll say you're John Williams.
All right.
Would you say that, or would you stop it? My name is John Williams. Do you have a moment or something like that?
Yeah. I just say my name's John Williams and wonder if you could spare a minute or two. I'd like to talk about our MRO services and introduce you to a few folks that could help.
Okay. You don't want to say citation or phase inspection or anything like that, or not yet? Not
Yeah.
yet.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good enough.
Okay.
Now you tell them about them.
We do phase inspections on citations.
Yeah.
Circumstances.
Mhm.
Here we can go up and copy some of these,
Mhm.
except that we'd want to make it sound conversational. So
Right.
we just say, cool. So I think most decent salespeople that know their company pretty well would be able to take the conversation from there. The hard part, I think, for a lot of salespeople is that very first part of the conversation. And if you are warmed up and you've done this for 5 minutes with ChatGPT before you get on the phone, you're going to feel a whole lot better, I think, about that conversation. What do you think?
Sure. Besides, after you say whatever you're going to say, you could tap it into ChatGPT and see what they say.
Exactly. You could have ChatGPT open live on your desk. In fact, somebody that we know does this in job interviews. And, they just have ChatGPT open on their laptop while they're doing Zoom, and they will type the interview questions into ChatGPT. They've already downloaded the job description and the company information and everything else. So the GPT knows everything. The question is this cheating?
Don't care.
Exactly. Any superpower can be used for good or evil. It's just a question of, are you actually using information that is true, that is verified, that you actually know to be factual and everything else, or are you just parroting what the GPT is saying?
And
So
for the record, I didn't have a ChatGPT open while I was answering her questions.
you could have. See, you could have been
Yeah.
dueling GPTs.
But it was extemporaneous in my case.
Exactly. So, the point is, when you're doing approaches, it can be kind of scary. And, any advantage that you can give yourself, I don't think you're harming Alan Bobo in any way by preparing for the phone call. In fact, you're being respectful of his time, by making sure that you know what you're going to be talking about. You are fully prepared for the phone call. You know your numbers. You know what is necessary about the call. You know what he's going to ask you, and you're prepared with any information that he's going to likely need, right?
Yep. Any busy execs, I appreciate that.
Exactly. So, anyway, Alan Bobo, wherever you are, I hope you forgive us for taking your name in vain and using you as the example in this role play. But I do think that this is really helpful for any um, aviation company to do your targeting right. We mentioned in our last session that if you do your targeting right, every no is temporary, right? They are going to need your service sooner or later. If you have done your targeting and your homework and everything else correctly, sooner or later, you're probably going to end up doing business together. It's just a question of where and when. And can you position yourself in the most expeditious sort of way and make the best use of their time and introduce yourself in a way that really makes a good first impression and
Yep.
things like that. So, whether you do this by phone call, by message, by email, by whatever, please, please, please do not just generate ChatGPT garbage. Go back and forth with it, use it to prepare, use your own words, make sure that you're doing the sanity check and you're not just doing lazy, sloppy garbage because we are a small industry and we do shotgun prospecting, not or sorry, we do sniper rifle. I got that completely wrong. We
Yes,
do
you did.
sniper rifle prospecting. We don't do shotgun prospecting. The market is just way too small. We have to make a good impression the first time. And if we don't make the sale today, we will make it eventually. That's kind of the attitude that we have to go in with. And also, if we go in with good targeting and a clean motivation, we are here to solve Alan Bobo's problems. We are not here to waste his time. We are not here to, knock over the other practitioners or anything else. We are just trying to position ourselves when we have the best advantage to do what's best for the industry, right?
Yeah. You first thing you want to do is actually be friendly and make a friend. But worry about the sale later.
Exactly. So, if he comes up with questions that are outside of what you do or anything like that, try and find him the answers, and if there's something that he needs, that comes up in the conversation, hey, you're in Omaha. I've got a friend who's trying to get a kid into school there. Do you know anybody at the University of Omaha, or something like that?
To that end, we have refer clients to us whom we have never worked with.
Exactly.
We've talked to, and they thought they wanted a service, but they didn't fit. So, but they still referred people to us because we made them.
Exactly. So, of course, the prospecting and the approach are just part of the sales process. What comes next is the holding pattern. And we'll be doing a podcast about that at some point in the very near future. And we'll probably be using ChatGPT, among other tools, to improve that process as well. But anyway, thanks for joining us. Let us know if you have any particular tips and tricks for approaches that has worked really well for you, or if you have any questions, or if you're looking forward to a scary phone call and you want some assistance in helping prepare for that. We're always happy to help people in the industry get connected in good ways. So let us know, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah.